Yo, what's up, guys? Back again with another live. So, I seen in my last videos, many people had different questions coming under the video, leaving comments. Um, People been coming at like my video a lot. I can tell by the views. Some people is starting to like it, but I can already tell there may be a lot of confusion. So, guys, last video was more of a rant. So I'm gonna actually go more in depth on what the 144,000 is, what they will be doing and things like that. And I'm gonna actually use scripture, even though I feel like I used scripture the last time, whatever. But we actually gonna read some scriptures now. You know, the stuff I'm about to the what I'm about to bring up. I said this stuff a million times on my channel already, so there's nothing that just something coming up to my head, and this is nothing like that. This stuff I've been saying, and you got to understand when it comes to the end times. Um, Many of the people that inspire you, maybe pastors or evangelists or whoever they are that want to call themselves teachers, they're not that very savvy with the end times topics. Okay. And that is no diss to them. No, they're not just some big old false prophet or anything like that. They just get stuff wrong. Okay. And that's what comes with it. Um, the Bible just tells itself, and you have to have the integrity to find that within the Bible. You just can't run away from it. So, guys, the 144,000 that we see in Revelation 7, okay, I stress to you that it is an actual literal number, okay? This literal number is from people that do not have a nation in the end times because they're waiting for that nation in the 1,000 year millennium. All the promises is within the 1,000 year millennium to Israel. That's where the promises starts. That's where it begins. That's when they would get all the promises that was to Abraham. Okay. In this time of day, right now, and in the past, they haven't got the promises at all. It happens in the 1,000 year millennium. This is because the nation of Israel is not supposed to be gathered in a nation until Jesus comes back. So this already stirs a lot of things into confusion because you believe that those people across the world are the chosen people of God. They're not. So the chosen people of God, their history consists of a nation from across the earth to them will come over and take them in ships. This is what Deuteronomy 28 says. Actually, in like Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, the Israelites is actually in the end times, the Israelites is actually in this nation called Babylon. Okay, Judah especially. You will see this in even Isaiah 47. Actually, Babylon uh, in Revelation 18 is supposed to be direct vengeance because they have had the captivity of the Israelites. Okay, so basically, what I'm saying to you is that the the Israelites that is speaking of in the Bible, in Revelation 7, they are lost people, and we actually don't know who the chosen people of God is. You'll have to read about it, read about their curses, especially Deuteronomy 28 and other books of the Bible, and then you look into human history, and then you compare the two. But until then, uh, you actually don't know who the chosen people of God is. It's people that is living under other people nations, guys. They were scattered across the world. This was one of their curses. Now, the scattering had started from 70 AD. Okay. When they got overthrown, the people that overthrew them basically stole their identity and stole their cultures and things like that. Um, and these people that did that, they don't want to believe in Jesus and they push that. Now, I know that when Jesus came, no one believed that that was Jesus or whatever. But we're talking about times after that, guys. Christianity started with Hebrews, with Jews, guys, with Hebrews people. Okay, that's how Christianity really got started. The people, they are the ones that really started to believe first, and then it spread it through across the world into more Gentiles. But the big believers started within the Hebrew community first. Okay, so the 144,000, that is where they originate from. Okay, so if you're the chosen people of God, but you're not included in the 144,000, you're not within this 12,000 that was sealed. You will be within the great multitude. It's in Revelation 7. Okay, so Revelation 7 is talking about two different groups. Okay, the 144,000, they get sealed in the sixth seal. Okay, Revelation 7 is a continuous from Revelation 6. It's speaking of the sixth seal. Now, the great multitude, okay, within um, Revelation 7, they come out of great tribulation. Okay, so we know that the trumpets are a part of the great tribulation. So we understand if they came out of great tribulation, we understand that they are not where that is not the same thing. That's not the same timeline we're seeing with the 144,000 getting sealed, because the 144,000 get sealed specifically before the harm is done to the trees, the sea, and the land. So this is how the Bible distinguishes the two groups. So the great multitude, what we're seeing in Revelation 7, is actually a future timeline, because the great multitude is ultimately the completion of the harvest to the first fruits, which is the 144,000. This is why in Revelation 14, the 144,000 are considered the first fruits. Okay, because there's a harvest to come, and that's the great multitude. Okay, so um I believe that people is confused with the virgin thing and with the 144,000. That the 144,000, they are virgins that have not been defiled by women. Okay, so people want to say that these are virgin Jewish men. That the 144,000 only consist of virgin Jewish men. Okay, and then this type of teaching, this type of interpretation is the reason why most people don't really care to, learn more about the 144,000 and things like that, because of misunderstanding. Guys, the version, if you look through the whole Bible, version, especially in Greek, it's like more of like a gender pronoun, more for a woman. It's going to be rare times, if you even find it one time in all the pages of the Bible, where virgins was ever uh was speaking of a male. Okay, so that's one thing of why this is completely symbolic, guys. Okay, um so we got the defiled by woman thing. Okay, guys, let's just say if you were a virgin and you went into marriage as a virgin, and then you have intercourse with your wife. Okay, are you defiled? No. So those are two reasons. With the term of virgin in Greek is talking more for a woman. Okay, every term, every scripture of the Bible that includes virgin, it was speaking of a woman. Okay, therefore the 144,000 are male and female. Um, Now, the symbolic meaning of it is because you can be seduced by evil spirits. This is First Timothy chapter 4, verse 1, and you'll also see symbolic imagery of, like, you'll say prostitutes, if you will, like Mystery Babylon in Revelation 17. So it's following a theme. Okay, so um this is what's going on now. The 144,000, okay, they are a few different characters in the book of Revelation. Okay, they are also the man child. So, guys, the seven seals, most of your teachers will want to tell you that the seven seals are like the first half of the Great Tribulation or something like that. They believe that the first seal is the Antichrist. They are wrong. So guys, the seals is, it can be seen in Matthew 24 from verse 4 through verse 8. And these will be called the birth pains, the beginning of birth pains. And then you can go to Matthew 24, verse 5, and it talks about the martyrs. So the sixth seal is what Matthew 24 is. Now, what is Matthew 24? The first 3 verses, it's the disciples asking Jesus the signs of the end. So that is what the seals are, guys. It's the signs of the end. It's not a part of the Great Tribulation. So this is important because this is why the scripture emphasized that the 144,000 will be sealed before harm is done to the land, tree, and the sea, because the 7 seals did not affect those things. Okay, the trumpets will. Okay, so the first 4 seals comes with the 4 horses. You will see these 4 horses in Zechariah 6, the same color and all. These 4 horses in Zechariah 6 came from heaven. They was the 4 spirits that stands in front of God. So there's no way that the first horse can be the Antichrist. The Antichrist is not going to come from the presence of God, guys. Now, it said that God will send a strong delusion. That's what Paul said. Okay. And we actually see an illustration of this in like First Kings chapter 22, chapter 19, verse 22. But it was when the prophet Ahab was to be deceived, and God had a council in heaven, and there was a deceiving spirit in the council of heaven. And he told that deceiving spirit, that the spirit said he will be a deceiving spirit to follow God's plan. And God had him entice the prophets of Ahab from a lie. So this is what we got. This is the strong delusion. And according to Matthew 24, verse 4, the first seal is basically false prophets, guys. It's many antichrists and not just one person. Okay, so that's what we need to understand, that the seals is not a part of the Great Tribulation. Okay, so the 144,000, they get sealed before the Great Tribulation. This is very important. Okay, there's no group coming before them. Okay, that's very apparent. They're the first fruits, guys. They're the same type of category that you will see in First Corinthians chapter 15. Okay, they are the first fruits. Okay, so this can mean many things. Now, don't believe that they're resurrected, but I do believe in a sense they was transfigured. Okay, and you will see this transfiguration on the Mount of Transfiguration. I believe, I forgot what chapter, but it happened with Jesus when he met Moses in them. So the 144,000 may not be resurrected, but that sealing will give them a transformation, guys. Okay, so since we got done talking about the seals, okay, then it ends with the sealing of the 144,000. Okay, we're going to talk about other places we see the 144,000 in the book of Revelation. And the next place, it will be Revelation 8, I believe, talking about Revelation 9 or 8, talking about the 5th seal. It says that the people that have the seal on their foreheads will not get stung. Okay, so this means that the 144,000 will be involved in earth. And guys, they will be doing a task, guys. Okay, they will be doing something. So we get to Revelation 12. So guys, the Revelation 12, okay, it's the start. It's the background behind of what we're seeing in the 6th seal. Okay, the first verse talks about the moon, the stars, okay, and the sun. And then we see falling stars. Okay, those are all the same things we see in the 6th seal. Okay, so now we understand by Matthew 24 that the seals are the birth pains, right? It's the signs of the coming. What do we see in Revelation 12? She's giving birth, guys. So We are following a setting, guys. Okay. So with this setting, okay, the man child, okay, there's a term in Isaiah 66 called the man child, especially in the King James Version. It says that this man child will be a nation, okay, born at once. Okay. So the man child is not an individual person. Okay. Man child was caught up to God's throne and was given iron scepter to have powers over nations. So they completely assume that this is an individual and is talking about Jesus. But guys, Jesus promised the iron scepter and power over nations to one of the churches, guys. He promised that gift to a group of people. Okay. So when we see the man child being caught up to heaven, we understand that the 144,000 was singing before the Lord's throne with the new song in in Revelation 14. Okay, so I'm setting everything in place for you. But also because of the setting, the man child, according to according to Isaiah 66, is a nation born at once. And this man child is like a group of people. We know that the only group of people within the sixth seal is the sealing of the 144,000. Okay. So this is how we understand who the man child is. We start to understand the war. So guys, this heaven that's opening in the sixth seal, it is not Jesus' second coming. The opening of the sixth seal, if you will, if you can probably compare it to Ezekiel chapter 1 or Ezekiel chapter 10, with maybe the cherubims coming from heaven and moving or whatever. But guys, these situations is not necessarily Jesus' second coming. So what happens is the heavens open up and the dark powers that once occupied it, they was destroyed by Michael the archangel and they was thrown down to earth. That's what Revelation 12 says. So when this happens, the second heavens will be under new spiritual light during the great tribulation. And this what happens, and these judgments basically comes from the righteous, the righteous holy people that's now reigning over the second heavens. This is stuff is confusing, I know, but basically what I'm saying is Revelation 12 is the background of what we see in the sixth seal in Revelation 6 and Matthew 24. And this is why you see these things, the sign of the coming of the Lord. This is why you see the Lord's throne. This is why you seeing the heavens open up like a scroll. This is why you see these things, because of this war that Satan have lost and have been thrown down to earth. Okay, so it's basically like Jesus is closing in, but the sixth seal is not his second coming. His second coming on the earth consists of horses that you will see in Revelation 19. His second coming consists of a whole army behind him. We didn't see that in the sixth seal. Okay, John did not see an army behind Jesus or the throne. Actually, in Revelation 19, in the actual second coming of Jesus Christ, there wasn't no throne. He was on the earth. He was on a horse, guys. So was his armies, guys. Whole different situation from the sixth seal to Revelation 19. Okay, so guys, if you think that the second coming of Jesus Christ is the sixth seal, then you messing up everything. Why would his second coming come, but he gathers this 144,000 that will eventually gather this great multitude? This is what I'm saying. So you got to slow down and read the Bible, because some of the timeline y'all talking about is not making sense. Okay. And I know many people have been taught that the seven seals are the great the first start of the great tribulation, the six seals, the second kind. Like they just want to say anything. And this brings me to my next point. Okay. This not necessarily have nothing to do with the 144,000, but is this something that needs to be noted? Okay, guys, there ain't no 7-year great tribulation, guys. Okay, y'all want to talk about Daniel 9, chapter 20? Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. Okay, that already happened, guys. The abomination of desolation was the 70 AD. Okay, when Jerusalem got overthrown. Um, Messiah was cut off in the middle of the week. That's his sacrifice. Okay. Um, and you got to understand all the pronouns from the Messiah, the prince, the ruler, to the he this, the he that. It was all talking about one person from Daniel 9 verse 24 to verse 27. Y'all want to bring up this antichrist out of nowhere. There ain't no antichrist in there. So y'all thinking that the antichrist is supposed to, in the 7-year great tribulation, start this treaty. Guys, the great tribulation is 3.5 years. that's the great tribulation. It's 3.5 years. One of the trumpets was 5 months, guys. So you put all that together, and then the first bowl, the first judgment of the bowl is those who accepted the mark of the beast, because in the 7th trumpet is when the first resurrection happened. So you guys got it all confused. The great tribulation is not supposed to be as long as you think it is. And remember, during this time, Satan is on earth. He will have the Antichrist doing what he do. But during this time, he's no longer our accuser. So we will have somewhat of communication with God better than we did before. But that's all. But guys, back to the 144,000. So guys, the 144,000 shows you they're the man child. I also want to show you that they are also the two witnesses. Okay, so guys, the two witnesses. Okay, in Revelation 11, they are the two candlesticks. Okay, they're the two candlesticks, y'all. So I mean, candlesticks are, in some translations, they are the two lampstands, guys. If you go to Revelation 1, it talks about these candlesticks. It talks about these lampstands. These are the 7 churches that we read about in Revelation 2 and Revelation 3. So just like the man child, guys, these two witnesses aren't two individual people. Symbolic revelation does this all day. Guys, okay, actually the Bible does this more than the book of Revelation, and we're going to get to that. So the two witnesses is, again, not two individual people. Y'all saying that they're Moses, Elijah, Enoch, but guys, they're two churches, guys. They're the two lampstands. So when we look into these churches, there's only 2 churches, guys, that didn't get no criticism. Okay, both of these churches was linked to Israel. Okay, I think it's Philadelphia and Smyrna or something like that. But y'all can go to it yourselves. Okay, I think it's Revelation 2 chapter 5 and Revelation 3 chapter 9. Revelation 3 verse 9, Revelation 2 verse 5. But whatever. So but the two witnesses, they're the 144,000. The two witnesses make up the 2 nations of Israel. Okay. So guys, now with the 144,000, they will be basically going to war as they are doing their priesthood. Okay. So guys, I don't know what it may look like in your head, but guys, the 144,000, they're not going to be like together in a band, they're going to be gathering different groups of people. Okay. And this is what ultimately the great multitude originates from. They originate from following the 144,000 in the Great Tribulation. That's the duties of the 144,000. They will be around the world. Okay, they'll be doing different things, and I'm sure they'll know each other. You feel me? But they are gathering this great multitude. So it's not this big band sitting down on the street preaching. They're already going to be doing this. They're going to be going to war with the beast that we see in Revelation 13. And these are the killed people that Revelation 13 was talking about when it said that the beast will reign over the holy people. Okay. This is the 144,000. This is them killing the 144,000. This is them killing the two witnesses. So this is that's that situation that Revelation 13 is talking about. Okay. So the 144,000 as the first fruits, okay, they will be resurrected, that you will see in Revelation 11 in that sixth seal, and then the first resurrection will come. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. You know, I think people think that I think there's also a misplacement of how you think the afterlife will go. So the 144,000 will be living in the inner court because that's measured. In the outer courts of the 1,000-year millennium or New Jerusalem, you can say, in the outer courts, it's not measured because that's for the Gentiles or great multitude. Now, people want to separate the church in Israel, but they can't, because the great multitude is actually the promise from Abraham to Ephraim in Genesis 48. This is why the tribe Ephraim in Revelation 7 was missing within the 12 tribes, because Ephraim is ultimately the great multitude. So, you know, we're going to go to some precepts to hopefully kind of make sense to you, because I didn't do that last time, but I kind of went on a little rant again. So, but this is a good one. If you go to Jeremiah 31, for the Lord, okay, we can go up. He who scattered Israel will gather them and will watch over his flock like a shepherd. So this gathering is talking about what we see in Revelation 7. And then we go on, for the Lord will deliver Jacob and redeem them from the hand of those stronger than they. So this redeem and deliver, we see this in Revelation 14. Okay. They will come and shout for joy on the heights of Zion. Remember, the 144,000 was on Mount Zion, okay, with Jesus walking with the Lamb. Understand that in Hebrews 12, verse 22, there is also a heavenly Jerusalem, a heavenly Mount Zion, the holy mountains, the holy mountain of God, that we even see in Ezekiel 28. So this is all a precept, okay? They will come and shout for joy on the heights of Zion. They will rejoice in the bounty of the Lord, the grain, the new wine, the oil, the olive oil, the young of the flocks and herds. They will be like well-watered garden, and they will sorrow no more. The young woman will dance and be glad, young men and old as well. Just to let you know that the 144,000 is both male and female. I will satisfy the priest with abundance, and my people will be filled with my bounty, guys. So we go on. I surely have heard Ephraim mourning. So this is what I'm saying, that this is the great multitude. You discipline me like an unruly calf, and I have been disciplined. Restore me, and I will return, because you are the Lord my God. After I strained, I repented, and after I came to understand, I beat my breast. I was ashamed and humiliated, because I bore the disgrace of my youth. Is not Ephraim my dear son, the child in whom I delight? Though I often speak against him, I still remember him. Therefore, my heart yearns for him. I will have great compassion for him. So this is that great multitude that goes through the great tribulation, that made their clothes white, that we see in Revelation 7. It's like we're reading Revelation 7 all over again, literally. Okay. But you can even see the ceiling in Ezekiel 9. Now the glory of the Lord of Israel went up from above the cherubim where it had been and moved to the threshold of the temple. Then the Lord called to the man clothed in linen who had the writing case at his side and said to him, go throughout the city of Jerusalem and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and lament over the detestable things that are done in it. So this Jerusalem is talking about the people. It's not necessarily talking about this location. It's talking about going around the world and getting those that are considered Jerusalem. He said to them, defile the temple and fill the courts with the slain. Go. So they went out and began killing throughout the city. Where they were killing and I was left alone, I fell face down, crying. The sin of the people of Israel and Judah is exceeding greatly. So what happens is in this chapter, God is explaining how he went and go put a mark out of the good Israel. This is basically, it was referring to 144,000. It's just that the book of Revelation is revealing to you this number. Okay. So anytime the Old Testament talks about end times and include Israel, is most likely talking about the 144,000. In those days at that, this is Joel chapter 3. In those days at that time, when I restore the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all the nations and bring them down to the valley. Then there I will put them on trial for what they did to my inheritance, my people Israel, because they scattered my people among the nations and divided up my land. So when we see this, guys, we are understanding that this restoring this portion of Judah and Jerusalem, when I gather all the nations, this is talking about the 1,000-year millennium, guys. This is not happening in our time of day. This gathering of the nations is talking about the 144,000. This is what I'm saying. A lot of the stuff that you read that you're seeing about the end times and including Israel, it's talking about this gathering, guys. And because they scattered my people among the nations, guys, understand this is saying they've been scattered to the time they was gathered. Okay, the Israelites of today, of the real ones, they're not supposed to have a nation yet, guys. They're living under people nations. The scripture says they cast lots for my people and traded boys for prostitutes, and they sold girls for wine to drink. Okay, so you know, this is we have more in Obadiah, the chapter Obadiah. You can go to other. See, look, the day of the Lord is near for all nations. As you have now, the day of the Lord is Armageddon. The day of the Lord is the second coming of Jesus Christ. The day of the Lord, Armageddon, second coming of Jesus Christ. They are the same thing. Okay. It's when Jesus comes and, you know, do what he do. As you have done, it will be done to you. Your deeds will return upon your own head. Just as you drunk on my holy hill, so all the nations will drink continuously. They will drink and be as if they never been. But on Mount Zion will be deliverance. It will be holy, and Jacob will possess his inheritance. Guys, this started from the day of the Lord. This is what I'm telling you guys. All these promises happen in 1,000-year millennium. Guys, the Israelites, the real Israelites, are not supposed to have a nation until Jesus comes back. These are what all these scriptures are telling you. But on Mount Zion will be deliverance. It will be holy, and Jacob will possess his land. Jacob will be a fire, and Joseph a flame. Okay? Letting you know what's going on. Esau will be stumbled, and they will set him on fire and destroy him. There will be no survivors. This is what the 144,000 will be into, guys. I'm not going to any notes or nothing. I'm literally, just going to minor prophet chapter books, and we're reading about, the promises of Israel. And so this is all, but I can do this all day because it's all in the Bible. I need you guys to do it. I need you guys to start, because there's so much stuff you're missing out on. This Bible is a pretty big book, guys. It's a pretty big book, you know. But I really can't think of no more things. We can try maybe, let's see, Psalms 55. Yeah, I don't even think this is the right chapter I was going to. But you got to understand, like David, he's he is like, he's speaking for the 144,000. So in a way, because he is Israel. He is that. This is where everything originate from. So a lot of the things that you see in the book of Psalms, you automatically can compare that to a lot of things that you see in Revelation 14, or any illustration of the 144,000 that the book of Revelation describes. So you see in Psalms 144, verse 5, it says, "Part your heavens, Lord, come down, touch the mountains so that they smoke, send forth lightning and scatter the enemies and shoot your arrows." So the guys, this is not just a song. Okay, this is what's really going to happen, guys. Okay, reach down your hand from on high, deliver me and rescue me from the mighty waters. So guys, where do you see this at? You see this in Revelation 12, when Satan blew a mighty, a bunch of water trying to flood the woman, and the earth helped protect. Remember, this is all in Revelation 12. So, but this is, Jacob is representing Israel right now, so you gotta peep these things. And then you go to verse 9 of Psalms 144. "I will sing a new song to you, my God." Okay, so guys, you clearly see, what I'm saying? You clearly see that this is in Revelation 14, the new song. So we go on. I'm going to go skip a few verses. "Then our sons in their youth will be like well nurtured plants, and our daughters will be like pillars carved to adorn palace." So guys, guess what? Jesus promised one of the churches that was clearly talking about Israel in Revelation 3. This was in verse 12. It said that you will be like a pillars. You will be like pillars in the temple that will never leave. If we go to the measurements of the walls of Revelation 21, okay, you see that the wall measurements consist of 144 cubits, guys, in Revelation 21. Mm-hmm. So, guys, a lot of these precepts that I'm coming up with, they're dead on, guys. The Bible is very consistent. I can go back to hundreds of years, and I can interpret those old books in the Bible for the book of Revelation that is all the way in 70 AD. You know what I'm saying? The Bible is so consistent, and I just showed it with like 3 different chapters, and I could really do this all day, guys. I could really do this all day. But I just can't remember every single one that related to the 144,000. I will get my notes. I know I have them somewhere. But yeah, y'all, I just wanted y'all to understand, how to read the Bible, more about the 144,000. I may do a video, but I just didn't want you guys to get confused. But peace out.